historic Iowa caucus last night. Shocking for Republicans and a race that was too close to call until the early morning hours of today for the Democrats. And our own political reporter Rick Albin was following those results as they came in last night. He joins us now from Wood Radio. And Rick, a razor-thin race here on the Democratic side. NBC News calling it for Hillary Clinton as the winner. But is Sanders' performance in Iowa a real win for his campaign now moving forward?
Absolutely. Senator Sanders and his group would have liked to have won by a big margin. They would have liked to have seen a spread of 7 or 8 or 10%. But they knew they weren't going to get that. So what they had to do was keep it as close as they possibly could. And that's exactly what they did. For Hillary Clinton, they got out without being defeated, or at least without having any margin. But they also weren't able to put the Bernie Sanders problem behind them. And going into New Hampshire, that problem could go. Now, Clinton showed a lot of organizational skills, and she showed a lot of momentum towards the end. I think those things helped her in Iowa. Question is, can you translate that to New Hampshire, a state that doesn't always like to go along with Iowa, and a place where Bernie Sanders has been leading because he's from that relative part of the country? The Clinton campaign is already downplaying their expectations in New Hampshire, looking at Nevada and South Carolina. And the question for Sanders is, do you have a ground game in the South? And so far, the answer to that, for those of us observing, we just don't know.
All right, and Rick, Martin O'Malley for the Democrats dropping out on the Republican side. Mike Huckabee dropping out of that race. Obviously, Ted Cruz, the winner in Iowa, saying he had to win Iowa. He put all of his eggs in Iowa. Donald Trump coming in second. For Marco Rubio, just a percentage point behind Donald Trump. Is that a victory for him in Iowa?
The bigger victory is that he came up from somewhere around 10 percentage points on January 23rd. So he picked up something like 14 points in a 10-day period or whatever it is. So I think Rubio's momentum is remarkably important going into New Hampshire. Think about what has to happen there. Donald Trump is up by 21, 22 points. So as that margin starts to collapse, and we believe it will, we expect Ted Cruz to eat into part of that. But then what happens to the more establishment, and I don't like that phrase, the more moderate conservative, if you will, part of that party? You've got John Kasich, Chris Christie, and Jeb Bush all trying to take that position. But Marco Rubio, who can be considered in that same vein, has just shown remarkable strength and a lot of momentum. And in these early primaries, you'll hear people talking about, well, I have this many delegates or I have this many. Delegates don't matter right now. What matters right now is momentum, because some of these are proportional, like Iowa. Some of them are going to end up being non-committed. It's not about delegates. It's about momentum and being able to show fundraisers in the next state that you can do this thing in the long haul. And I think Rubio takes a big step forward with his performance and his showing last night in Iowa.
Rick Albin joining us from Wood Radio this morning. Rick, just 4 weeks until Super Tuesday, 5 until our primary here in Michigan. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of you. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Absolutely.